Did Otis just turn heel? Did he? We're going to talk about it today on this episode of the WrestleTalk podcast. Hello, welcome to said episode of the WrestleTalk podcast, the SmackDown review. I am Corporate Chopper. I'm joined by Andy Datson. And the first thing we're going to be talking about today is a baffling tag match that took place on last night's SmackDown on the Elimination Chamber Go Home show. You wouldn't think it would be the place for a couple heel turns, but there were technically 3, 2.5 on this show, maybe. Let's get into it. Because what happened was, it was a tag match between Rey and Dominic Mysterio and Alpha Academy. And at first I was like, okay, cool, that should be a really good match. 2 babyface teams, both probably going to put in a nice showing kind of thing. It'll be good fun. Even though, Gable's not really had a face turn, he's been wrestling a bit more babyface in recent weeks. So I was like, this will probably just be a bit of fun. Cool, I'm into it. The match went for like 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Otis was in, Gable made a tag, and then Otis just kept splashing Rey Mysterio. And then Gable came in and didn't make any effort to get Otis out of the ring or anything. He was just saying, you should do that again. And then Otis did it again. And then the referee was like, no, you need to get out of you've made a tag. You need to get out of the ring. And then they didn't. So then the ref called for the DQ because they weren't leaving the ring. So then Otis splashed Rey again. And then he splashed him again, but from the middle rope. But then he was it wasn't like he was conflicted or confused or anything. He was just doing it. And then was celebrating afterwards, being like, yeah, I'm Otis. I'm great. And then they were like, wow, Alpha Academy, right? And then that was it. And I was like, what was that? What happened? Because they got intentionally DQ'd. Otis was attacking him after the match had finished, so that's definitely a heel move. Gable, we know, has been a little bit manipulative of Otis, so he's kind of directing traffic and stuff. But Otis wasn't conflicted, unless he's just really bad at acting, which we know he isn't, because he's done his whole Mandy storyline, which was great. There's no story. I don't understand what happened.
So, who was the legal man?
I don't know. It was one of them. I haven't looked back.
Because if it was Otis...
I
mean, Chad Gable wasn't getting physical.
No, that's true.
So, and we've seen a lot worse than this from tag partners and stuff like that in the past. Yeah. The referee calls for the DQ. Otis just splashes. And I know I'm just repeating you here, but I'm also trying to understand in my own head what happened.
Yeah.
Is the story that they're telling that Otis is he's just a big, stupid man, and therefore will just do whatever? And if Chad Gable goes up to him and goes, yeah, good work, man, he's just going to go, yeah, okay. This small man is telling me that I am good, and therefore I am good. Caveman go, ugh. Is that the story they're telling? Because that's not a story. We haven't had any real teasers of this other than the fact that Gable's been a bit sort of just sort of slightly manipulating Otis in the past few weeks. But for Otis just to go, all right, I'll just keep splashing him. It's not like we've gone, oh yeah, that's we've really built up to that over the last few weeks. It's just, okay, we needed another heel tag team, I suppose, did we? Because I don't think we did. We just wanted tag teams.
Yeah. And the thing is, if they are telling that story of Otis's big dumb man and just follows instructions and doesn't realize that the DQ happened or something, then tell that story. They didn't tell that story. They didn't have any bit where Otis was like, wait, why aren't we wrestling? And Gable goes, no, it's cool, we won. Or anything nothing at all. It was just, he just splashed him a lot. And then that was it.
I think it has to be that, because Gable ran up to him afterwards and raised his arm. And he was like, yeah! So he was just, I guess in WWE's mind, he's going, yeah, we won that match. Because I was beating up the small lucha man so much that the referee was like, oh, well, he can't continue. You've won now.
Yep.
And
that's terrible.
I don't understand, because that's like a Jesse and Festus thing, which
100%.
which just doesn't work, especially in 2021.
Nope.
It's just this man will beat you up, and he won't know that. He doesn't know the rules of wrestling. All he knows is that he is big and you are small.
Which doesn't make any sense because we know Otis has brains. We've seen it through the entirety of Otis's run. Yes, he's big man who likes food, but he understands wrestling. I mean, Jesus Christ. And then the thing is, they had a network exclusive, which I watched on WWE's YouTube channel. I was like, okay, maybe this will clear up the story. It didn't, because it was just then the interviewer, whoever it was, I forget, sorry, said, it all seemed to be going really well for you until the DQ. And Gable was like, oh, whoa. What do you mean the DQ? This was a massive win for Alpha Academy. We're going to go on to win championships and all that stuff. Yeah. And at no point was Otis just like, what do you mean DQ? Or anything like that. He was like, yeah, DQ. It was like, so he knows. So he knows it's a DQ. So what's the story? It's got to be, it's just a heel turn. It's got to be just a heel turn. But then if it is a heel turn, what caused the heel turn? Why now? Why against Rey Mysterio? What's happened? Why did any of this happen? I don't understand.
What's extra worrying, slightly depressing, is that normally in these kind of big man, small man teams, you've got small man doing all the wrestling work, and then big man comes in and flattens someone. But it doesn't feel like they're doing that with this. It feels like they're going, big man do everything. And Chad Gable will stand there and go, yeah. And to have Chad Gable in a tag team and for him to be the one who wrestles less is criminal.
I know.
Like, Otis is great. Like, I enjoy watching Otis wrestle because it is like a human wrecking ball.
Yeah.
But if you've got a team with Chad Gable in it, you can't have him just being a guy on the side going, yeah.
I know.
Because that's what he is at the moment.
I know. Makes me very depressed. This was very confusing. Though I will say, maybe not the most confusing thing on the show.
No.
It's probably up there. Maybe not the most confusing thing, though. But we'll get to that one later. Do you guys think it was a heel turn? I don't know. Let us know in the comments, because I have no idea. Let us know in the comments. Do you think it was a heel turn? Do you think Otis is big, dumb, babyface man and he's just being misled? I don't know. Tell us, please, because we're in the dark. Now, before we get into the main review of the show, couple things I want to get to. First things first, this is the last time the SmackDown podcast will be on the main WrestleTalk channel. You can see on the little banner right below me, it says this show is moving to WrestleTalk podcast. There's a YouTube channel called WrestleTalk Podcast. If you've not heard about it, it's the whole super content shakeup thing. All of the podcasts are moving over to the WrestleTalk Podcast channel as of pretty much today in terms of the podcast. We're going to be doing the Elimination Chamber live reactions that are going to be dual streamed on WrestleTalk and WrestleTalk Podcast. And then the review of Elimination Chamber on Monday will be on the WrestleTalk Podcast channel alone. No more podcasts on the main WrestleTalk channel from then on. So please go and subscribe to the WrestleTalk Podcast channel, because that is where you will be able to watch these kinds of videos in the future. Second thing, speaking of Elimination Chamber live reactions, on the prediction stream on Wednesday, it was mentioned by El Fakador that because my person that represents me in the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match is Jeff Hardy, that I should paint my face like Jeff Hardy. I've got a couple of packages here that I've been told I should open on the SmackDown podcast. So we're going to do that right now.
And this is probably the most embarrassing video of you that goes up on YouTube today, isn't it, Chopper?
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't already seen, Chopper's Mr. Ass music video went live earlier today. So if you want to see that, watch the WrestleTalk News. It is in there. All of the WrestleTalk News channel news videos will be on the main WrestleTalk channel as they are already. But yeah, do head over there and watch that, because Chopper really wants you to see it.
I really, really don't. But also, going on the whole face paint with Jeff Hardy thing, we got some Snazaroo.
Oh, those are Snazaroo, to be fair.
It's very
Snazaroo. Pretty Snazaroo.
Yeah. It's going to be quite incredible, I think. Warning, attention. Oh, it's a choking hazard. Don't know if I can use it.
Are you gonna try and are you gonna have to shave your head before you do it? No more.
Yes.
No more. Like because you don't want to paint on hair.
I'm not shaving my beard, if that's what you're asking.
No. I meant the top of your head.
Yes, I will try and get it as smooth as possible. Yes.
Also,
right now, this one
a picture to show you what a smooth Pete looks like.
Hate you. Also, I knew that one was coming. That was some face paint. This, I have no idea what it is. They just sent me and just said, "Oh, hey, by the way, open this on SmackDown." Okay, so what we got? I'm very confused.
What is it?
Well, it says underwear on the front of it.
Right.
I don't have any scissors to hand.
Rip it. Use your teeth.
I can't. It's one of these.
Go Gooberfish. Use your teeth.
Who? Is that another Pokemon?
No, that was a Star Wars Phantom Menace reference for all my Phantom Menace fans out there. This is great audio content.
It really is.
ASMR of Pete opening a packet.
Okay. Oh boy, it feels very meshy. Let me tell you.
Right. Oh, is it the old Jeff Hardy top? Oh no! Oh god, that's gonna be awful.
Oh boy, it's quite see-through. Like you can still see me behind it.
Why don't you put it on now?
I'm not gonna do that. Absolutely not.
So if you've ever wanted to see what Chopper's nipples look like,
oh, you're gonna see. Don't you worry. I've been showing off my ass in my Mr. Ass music video, and now you get to see the top half.
And
okay.
Chopper is a hairy man, so you're going to see a lot of chest hair as well.
So I'll be wearing that for the live reactions tomorrow night.
Do you know what? I'm really glad that I won at Royal Rumble because otherwise I would have risked this being me. So I'm sitting out tomorrow night.
See, but the thing is, though, if anyone else had got Jeff Hardy, I can almost guarantee they would not have been recommended to paint their face like Jeff Hardy. It's because it's me. I get all the gimmicks, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, Pete, he loves dressing up as Nikki Bella for Hell in a Cell. Let's make him be Jeff Hardy, be Mr. Ass, be Tyler Breeze."
Yeah, you're our little sort of training gimp.
Excuse me.
I don't know. I couldn't think of the right wording for it. Anyway, if you want to see Pete Hardy tomorrow night, then tune into the Elimination Chamber live stream.
Yeah. It'll be on the WrestleTalk podcast channel. And also, future live reaction streams for future shows will be on the WrestleTalk podcast channel alone. So it's worth your while subscribing there to get your live reactions as well. But for now, let's get into talking about the rest of the show. SmackDown. Let's talk about that instead of Elimination Chamber, because it's going to make me sad. All right. So the show started off with Edge coming out, Royal Rumble winner Edge. And you know what? I said I really didn't like they were really artificially dragging out Edge's announcements and stuff. Him just saying, "I'm going to wait till after Chamber," is really good, because now I buy into all the stuff he's doing. It's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm just scouting out my potential opponents for after the Chamber. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. He was saying, I've got 13 potential opponents because there's 2 Chamber matches, and that person that wins the match is going to go on to face Reigns as well. Like, loads of people
Edge versus Baron Corbin.
It could be. While I don't think it's realistically going to be anyone but Roman Reigns, I will say that the show did a very good job, in kayfabe, of making it a bit more believable that Edge could face someone else. When he was having backstage segments through the show with Daniel Bryan, and Bryan saying, some people will say, this is way overdue. People will call this a dream match. I was like, it would be. I'd be okay with Daniel Bryan versus Edge. Don't think it's going to happen, but it's nice to see that in kayfabe, they're not at least insulting our intelligence by only having Edge interact with Roman and going, who's he going to pick? And it's obviously Roman. I like this.
Yes. No, it was it was interesting because we've got so used to Roman's music hitting at the start of SmackDown for ages. So that when it was announced prior to the show that Edge would be opening, I was like, what? How does Roman feel about that? And you could tell because Roman came out 3 minutes later and he's like, come on, man.
He also responded on Twitter, essentially saying, I will interrupt your promo, because he said, I'll see you on SmackDown or something like that. It was just like, come to my island or whatever he said on Twitter.
But no, like you said, it's nice that it no longer feels artificial, because it really felt artificial just a couple of weeks ago. So that is once again testament to the fact that SmackDown seems to be written by sort of talented human beings, unlike Raw. But yeah, I really like this whole thing. Edge, you say, putting out the fact that there are 13 potential. Obviously, there aren't 13 potential. They've probably, hopefully, I think, maybe got one person in mind, because if they still haven't decided who Edge is facing, they really probably should decide by now. It's 6 weeks away, 7 weeks away, maybe. And for a properly effective build, you need to have one focus right now. And after this show, I finally feel like they are properly heading towards this one match, which is really refreshing, because in previous years, we've had so much, we're probably going to face him, but actually we don't know. Oh, wait, actually, no, Goldberg's got to come back, so we'll have him face him. Oh, no, but John Cena's got to be there, so we'll change that match to be that. Yeah. It actually feels like we know what we're doing now on SmackDown, at least. It feels like and it's the same with the women's division. It feels like while they're dragging it out more and badly, it still feels like we know where we're going.
Yes, yeah. Though I will say that one feels a bit more like, who will be Anchor Choose? It could be anybody, when it's very clearly one person. But yes, Edge's inclusion on the show I thought was very good. He came out talking about his 13 potential opponents. Roman Reigns then comes out immediately and just says, like, you don't have 13 opponents, you have one, because I'm the main event of WrestleMania. If you want to main event WrestleMania, you have to pick me. There's no other person to choose, which makes sense. Like that promo. Edge says, quite rightly as well, just saying, like, hey, a couple of weeks ago, you did something that I've never seen you do before. You lost your cool. You don't do that. You're scared of me. Like, do you really want me to expose the dents in your armor? Because I can do that. Just have a long, hard think about whether that's something you really want to do. Which was, again, it was quite effective because it was true from Edge. And it makes a lot of sense for both their characters. It was really effective stuff. But then Sami Zayn comes out, which I appreciated, because he's involved in the Elimination Chamber. It didn't feel completely random. He's kind of involved in this sort of scene. And he's basically just a guy to interrupt them and get Jey Uso to super kick someone. But he did a really bloody good promo. Shocker. Sami Zayn cuts a really good promo. But yeah, just him just saying, I've been disrespected by management and I'm being disrespected by you guys. I should be Universal Champion. Get super kicked by Jey Uso. The only weird bit of this segment I found was right at the end, because Roman hands off his Universal title to Paul Heyman, puts his hands behind his back, showing that, hey, I'm not going to attack you, walks up to Edge and whispers in his ear, and then walks off. I would have thought, based on Roman's history on SmackDown since he came back, that they would have turned the mics up in the ring and we would have heard what Roman said to him. I don't know whether it was a botch and maybe we were supposed to hear what he said or not. I don't know, but we couldn't hear what he said. He just walked up to and went, and then walked off. And then we were like, speak up, huh?
Yeah, I actually have a transcript. He was going, hey, Edge, can you please pick me WrestleMania? I really want to have a wrestling match with you. I've really always dreamed of it, and you're one of my heroes, so please pick me. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the fact that it was inaudible. It felt personal. It felt threatening, which is what you want, because Edge should have just stood there and took it all in. There wasn't, and they didn't like to start going, hitting each other afterwards. I'm just going to say this once. Here's my warning to you. And then they departed. And I think that was really quite effective, because it felt like this is between us. These two behind me, they don't matter, but it's because it's between us now. So I like that. I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Maybe it's just me being nosy. But like, I just want to know what was said. Like, I quite like the fact that, like you said, it was inaudible. But then I would have like maybe edged to say later in a backstage promo or something like, oh yeah, someone asked him like, what did Roman say to you? And then he says, oh, he said this thing, blah, 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 whatever. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's just me just needing to know everything. But I just wanted to know what was said. That's all. Yeah. But yeah, cool opening segment. Liked it. After that, we got Apollo Crews versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And Big E was on commentary. Big E on his sofa with food and stuff. Love that. Big E's great. I thought he did a really good job on commentary as well. He seemed very like genuine when people were like, you've mentioned that you're in like the Apollo abyss right now. He's like, I am. I'm sick of facing Apollo. Like I've beaten him 3 times in 6 weeks. Can I stop facing him now? Just felt very like, guys, I'm so over this. Can you stop? And very genuine.
Yeah, we had some good guest commentary on this show as a whole. We got some more later, but yeah, and you feel, because it's almost how we feel watching it. It's like Apollo again, but not in a sort of I hate Apollo. He's so boring. It's kind of he really can't get rid of this guy. And then Apollo. So the match is like short, but it is fun, and it ends in like a sort of armbar into a roll up from Nakamura. So you're like, okay, well, Nakamura has proven that he beat Apollo, therefore Apollo can't say he deserves another shot at Big E. But then by the end of the segment, you're like, oh no, I want to see Big E face Apollo again, because Apollo then turns proper like angry. No, do you know what? F this. I'm gonna just beat everyone up now and show that I am worthy, because it was a roll up. That doesn't mean you beat me. So then he just I didn't know what the word to say. He hits Nakamura,
clatters, destroys, brutalizes,
and then he gets the stairs on the outside the ring and starts hitting Big E. And yeah, by the end of it, you're like, okay, no, I want to. I mean, even if it's a triple threat, which I don't think it should be. I think it should be a singles match, but I wouldn't mind seeing this in a triple threat. But like I say, at the beginning, I was like, still Apollo, but now you're like, oh no, actually this needs another match.
Yeah, because I don't know how they're doing it. Maybe it's just because they're referencing the fact that Apollo will not stop challenging for it, and Big E's like reflecting the fans' feelings, be like, guys, I'm so over Apollo, can we not? Something feels unresolved in the story, even though they faced each other so many times, and it works this time because they're actually referencing how repetitive it is. And Apollo's actually going through character change through these matches as well. So it's not like the same match every single time. It's Apollo at first, which is like, hey, we're bros, let's go. Intercontinental title match, open challenge. I gotcha, it's fine. And then he was like, I lost that one. I should get another shot. And then it was, no, I deserve another shot. And then this one's like, screw you, I'm going to attack you until you give me another shot. It's like, it's the progression of Apollo through it, which makes a lot of sense. It works for a slow character turn. We knew a heel turn was coming, but this makes a lot of sense. Now is a good time to do it. I liked it. I actually liked the spot at the end. I don't know people's feelings on this because I've not been online to see it. But at the very end, Apollo has the ring steps in the ring on top of his head. He was going to smash him on Big E. Big E rolls out of the ring, so he's lying on the floor on the floor outside the ring. And the referee's like, Apollo, drop the steps. Just put them down, please. Just drop them. And Apollo goes, you want me to drop them? Okay. Walks over to the side of the ring and just drops the steps on Big E on the outside. Now, we don't see the impact because chances are Big E rolled under the ring till the steps hit the floor and then rolled back out of the ring holding his head. I just quite like the creativity of the spot, of them being able to do like a dangerous bump without actually taking the bump. I just thought it looked like a cool spot. And I believe like the selling of it being like, oh, they dropped on his head, like that would hurt. And then like he got stretched out and things like that. And I was like, I'm buying the beatdown. Like it worked for me. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I agree with all of that. Yeah, no, he puts it up and goes Apollo bruise, and then he hurts Big E. Do you know what? I was cycling through everything that rhymes with cruise in my head for about 30 seconds there, and I'm like, there's nothing good here. I'm just going to say bruise. So that's my thought process, if you're wondering. Enjoyed all of this, and I imagine we're going to get a match between the two on Sunday or tomorrow.
Kickoff show. Apollo versus Big E.
I hope it's not kickoff show.
Me too.
As much as I don't want to see Bianca and Sasha on the kickoff show, that match should be on the kickoff show,
I disagree. I don't think your SmackDown Women's Champion and your Royal Rumble winner should be on the pre-show.
No, it shouldn't, but that is the least interesting match on the card.
Right, but even so, they shouldn't be on the pre-show. On the pay-per-view after the Rumble as well. Like,
yes, well,
as
I know.
Bianca would say.
But I'd rather they just didn't have women. They shouldn't be in this match. Because there are no winners in this match. Because if anyway, we'll talk about it later.
I was going to say we'll get onto that because this is yep. We'll get to that later. If you don't like us ranting, we're going to. After that, we had Seth Rollins come out and cut a promo just on the ramp. Did a recap of people walking out on him last week and just saying, "I'm great. Why doesn't everyone love me? I'm the best. Embrace the vision." He was basically saying, "I'm going to take legal action against everyone who walked out on me," which makes no sense, but it's perfect for a delusional heel.
It was kind of the Karen cult leader.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah. And he was just saying, he called out specifically Cesaro and just said, he in particular was very bad. I don't like that man. And so chances are after Chamber, we're going to head into a Rollins Cesaro program, which again, all for. Yeah, it was fine. It was a good promo, and it just sows the seeds. So it keeps the plate spinning of Rollins versus Cesaro, puts over Rollins' character. Good. Liked it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it was all good stuff from Rollins, and I guess next Friday we'll probably actually start to see a feud between the two. Yeah, because you can't really have Rollins interfere in the Chamber.
No,
that wouldn't make sense at this point.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want him to because I want Cesaro to win the Chamber and then have a really good showing against Reigns and then lose. That would be amazing. But yes. After that, we then had a very, very quick 2-minute match between the Riott Squad and Tamina and Natalya. You can tell this match was rushed. You can tell they were tight on time because no one got an entrance. The match started immediately after an ad break with no introduction of who the teams were or anything. It just started. They did not breathe for the whole thing. They just went spot for the whole thing. Billie Kay came out with like Tamina and Natalya gear on with like the cat ears and the Nobody Meaner t-shirt and all that stuff, and intentionally cost the Riott Squad this match. Tamina hitting like a black hole slam, I think, for the win, which I tell you what, actually looked pretty good. I liked the slam she did. Yes. Anywho, they got the pin win, and then Billie Kay was like, "Hey, Tamina and Natalya, best buds," and they're like, "Nope," and then they beat her up.
No, but I mean, Tamina and Natalya are best friends. Like we know that because they've told us. Yeah, Billie Kay wearing possibly the only person ever to buy a Tamina t-shirt.
I reckon there's been maybe 10.
Yeah, and it's all me. Yeah. This is run its course. They have run out of steam on Billie Kay, and it's such a shame because she's so great, she's so entertaining. But they just have no idea what to do with her. I know I praised the SmackDown writers earlier, but they just don't know what they're doing now. Yeah, because we've had the various iterations of the Riott Squad doing things and losing all the time. And because it's not helpful for them either. Like, I know the whole point is that Billie Kay is a joke character and she costs people. But all it means is that the Riott Squad are just losing and losing and they've got no credibility anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they always get distracted by Billie Kay. It's like, you know she's going to come out and you know she's going to distract you. Stop being distracted by her.
Yeah, and if she's going to get physical with you, then you win by DQ. Let her do it. Like, I don't know, man. The story's completely petered out. They really need to just figure it out from here on out. But I don't think they will. After that, they very quickly rushed through that to then very quickly get on to, look, Sasha Banks was at Daytona 500. That's way more important. Let's push that instead. Sure, whatever. And then we got... Here we go. We got the return of the Ding Dong Hello show. Now, I love Bayley. I think she is the absolute saving grace of this segment, because this segment and the subsequent match was really bad.
Yes.
So, the Ding Dong Hello Show is actually very funny. Bayley coming out through the door, the outfit she wears with the stupidly oversized glasses, very funny. Whenever anyone comes out and doesn't use the door, her outrage about it is hilarious. I think she's amazing. The little plaque saying 380-day reign as SmackDown Women's Champion next to her, amazing. The fact that she gets a very comfy chair and she has one stool for a guest over there, it's funny. I like the Ding Dong Hello Show. Everything else was pretty bad. So her guests on the show, let's just run through what happens first, and then we'll talk about it bit by bit. So Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax were her guests. They come through the door, as they should, eventually, because they did the comedy thing where they both tried to walk through the door at the same time, and they got stuck on the door frame, everybody.
That is funny.
So they tried that like 3 times, and then they walked through. And then for some reason, correct me if I'm wrong, but Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler have had a lot of beef with like Naomi and Lana and other people on Raw. From what I'm aware, apart from last week when when Sasha and Bianca made fun of Nia Jax's hole, because everyone was, they don't have that much beef with Sasha and Bianca. Yet here, in this segment, they came out and just ragged on them. And Sasha's the worst. No, Bianca's the worst. Bayley, you're so great for getting rid of Sasha. She's the worst. You see how she's walking around here? God, she's terrible. We hate her. I'm like, where's this feud come from? Apart from, last week's segment, but that seems very flimsy, in my humble opinion. But this then brought out not Sasha, not Bianca. No, this brought out Reginald, Carmella's sommelier, if you're keeping track. Reginald comes out and then says Sasha Banks is the greatest. She's the best champion of all time. Why did he? Sure, he's just simping Sasha, basically, is what we're saying. They get a bit intimidating of Reginald, get in his face and be like, is that a challenge? Sasha Banks then comes out to save Reginald, who comes out and says to Reginald, don't ever talk for me. He was like, sorry, queen. Yas, queen. I'm a simp, is basically what he said. And then Sasha then says, you guys suck. Bianca's totally going to choose me at WrestleMania, which wasn't relevant to what anyone said about anything. But that then brought out Bianca, who came out and said something about Sasha not winning at WrestleMania or something. And then Reginald then steps back in again and says, hey, we're all on the same team. You guys shouldn't be fighting. Why don't we do us 3 versus them 3? Talking about Nia, Shayna, and Bayley. And then Nia says, let's get a referee out here. So now then they have a match. A match which is, to keep track here, Sasha, Bianca, and Reginald versus Nia, Shayna, and Bayley. Bayley not in wrestling gear, and Reginald not a wrestler. Just feel I need to emphasize that a little bit. The in-ring action is fine, goes like a couple minutes, and then Reginald gets the hot tag. He comes in, and immediately all the momentum in the match just goes because he comes in. Nia Jax then gets in his face, and he just stops and goes, oh, you're very big. It's like, you knew that! You wanted the match, you moron!
You stand next to her already.
Yeah.
Going, oh! Yes.
And then Nia Jax throws him around for ages, because of course she does. She's massive, he's small. Just chucks him around for ages, slamming him and stuff. Nia Jax should very easily be able to put away the non-wrestler, the sommelier in kayfabe, the sommelier, Reginald. She doesn't, because she goes for a leg drop and misses, and Reginald dodges. On the outside, Sasha and Bianca then grab Shayna off the apron and just start beating her up, like pummeling her on the outside. I'm like, Jesus, guys. Like, That's a heel tactic right there. Whatever. Reginald comes in and tries to hit a crossbody on Nia, who catches him. Bianca and Sasha then hit a double dropkick onto Nia, who falls over with Reginald on top of her, and Reginald pins Nia Jax.
Yes. A double dropkick, I think, which actually hit Reginald, which somehow had enough momentum so that Nia couldn't get up. Right, so you've done a good.
That's what happened.
That's a good outline.
Yes,
that's a good outline.
Mm-hmm.
This segment, and this is unusual even for a WWE segment, where every single person involved looked like a complete idiot afterwards. And I'm not exaggerating. So Bayley looks just okay. Fine, Bayley looked probably the least stupid here, which is saying something.
Because she was more on the comedic end anyway, with the whole "please use my door" thing. Like, she was relatively okay out of this.
Nia and Shane look stupid. Firstly, because of the whole door thing. Like, yeah, all right, do it once, but then they did it 4 times, and then their promos were awful. The content was awful. The way they delivered it, you could tell that they could not give a monkey's bell end what they were talking about.
Right.
You could tell that they were just, Bianca's rubbish, isn't she? And I mean, like, I don't think Nia's a very good promo in general, but Shane is a good promo. And this made her look terrible. Because she could tell that she didn't care, which isn't good. Reginald comes out for some reason, like you say, just talks for a bit. They go, we're big. He goes, ah! Which brings out Sasha, who does a rubbish promo as well. And Sasha's a good promo, but she sounded again like she didn't care. And she was like, the whole of SmackDown revolves around me, in her Boston voice, which I find slightly grating anyway. Sorry, Boston. Which brings out...
Boston or Boss Town?
Which brings out Bianca Belair, who's from Belair. And she cuts a rubbish promo as well. And it's...
Yeah.
And it's because what they're doing is that sort of stereotypical sassy woman thing where all of them are doing it. And then it's just, I am the best. Look at me. And they're sort of all doing hands and body movements and stuff like that. And it's just, what are you doing?
Yeah.
None of this works because she's going, I am the best. I won the Royal Rumble. So I think that means that I am the best. And Sasha goes, no, I am the best because I am the champion and you will pick me. And then Reginald comes back and goes, let's have a match. And then
is that what he sounds like?
Yeah, let's have a match. I can't tell. Is he French or have they said, Reginald, do a bad French accent?
I'm pretty sure he's French. Well, he was in Cirque du Soleil.
He was in Cirque. Yes, I know, but you don't have to be French.
No, of course not. Of course not. Yeah, so maybe they've just gone, Cirque du Soleil, French, let's make him French.
Yeah, because I found his Instagram and I couldn't find anything to suggest that he was French, but he might just not mention it anyway.
Maybe.
And then Nia just goes, yeah, all right. And then the match is crap, like you say. And then she gets dropped. She doesn't get drop kicked at all. She feels none of the force of this small man on her chest. And then she falls over backwards. And for some reason, she's not a turtle. She can't, doesn't fall and go, oh no, I'm on my back and I can't get up. He's a small man. If Reginald was lying on top of me, I am a skinny man, as you can see. But I reckon I could probably do this.
Yeah.
If Reginald or kind of push him off me, if he was lying on me. But this incredibly powerful woman is lying there going, oh, how have I got myself in this position? I can't move. I'm stuck. What? And then it was over.
It's really bad.
And then it was over, and I was like, oh, Christ, thank God for that.
Well, the thing is, it was kind of sort of over, Because we had a backstage segment later on where Carmella was like, "Hey, Reginald, where were you?" And he was like, "Oh, I was just..."
With good reason. Where were you?
Where were you, Reginald? And he goes, "Oh, I was just getting the wine at the correct temperature and blah, 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 blah." I'm like, "Reginald, are you stupid as well? How do you not think she would have seen you out there? It's quite public. You're on TV, mate."
She would have been watching a TV at a stupid angle the whole time.
Yeah. And then she goes, quite smartly, Carmella just goes, "I saw you out there." It's like, good. Thank God we don't have that stupid story of Carmella being like, "I don't know where he went." So she was just like, "Yeah, I know where you went. I hope you're doing the right thing." Chucks a glass of wine in his face and says, "Get me another one." So I'm like, okay, so Carmella is the only reasonable person in this entire thing. Okay, cool. And even then, she's not reasonable because she chucked a glass of wine in a man's face.
Yeah.
Anyway, the crux of it, all of this was rubbish, right? All of this was crap. I hated it. The thing that gets me the most, why is Reginald the one getting pushed? Out of everyone in this segment, you have women's tag team champions, your SmackDown women's champion, the Royal Rumble winner, and the person that held the SmackDown women's title for 380 days, and the man in this women's segment, the non-wrestler is the one that's getting pushed. Why? Why are you doing this? I don't understand.
Make it a 3-on-2, or you can have any other babyface, or even Carmella. Just say, look, she's not as heely as the other ones. She probably doesn't want to be on this team, but it's got to be a 3-on-3. And do you know what the main thing about her that's really important? She's a wrestler and a woman, and therefore should be in this match. And if she had pinned Nia Jax, I still would have been a stupid finish. But I would have been like, okay, well, it's Carmella.
Yeah,
and not
exactly.
a small...
And not Reginald, who, again,
has been throwing around the entire match.
Just want to throw it out there again. Non-wrestler, Reginald. Not a wrestler.
I actually really like the match, so we'll move on from there.
Oh, God, it angered me. Sorry about that rant. I know we got quite negative about that because it was rubbish. Cesaro cut a little backstage promo just saying that he's going to win at Elimination Chamber, go on to become Universal Champion. And he also mentions Rollins just being like, we all hoped that he would come back and be, I've known Rollins for years. All of us just wanted him to come back and be the guy that we know he can be. And he's the same guy, and it sucks. It was basically the crux of it, which was good. Makes a lot of sense. Again, still very into Cesaro. Love that. Then we got the tag match with Ray and Dom versus Alpha Academy that we already spoke about. We had a really cool backstage promo with Cesaro and Daniel Bryan. I'd really like this promo because it made a lot of character sense. Continuity and all that stuff. It's good. All the stuff that I like. Cesaro and Bryan were just talking. Kevin Owens comes up in anticipation of the main event, which is a 6-man tag with everyone from the SmackDown Elimination Chamber in. He comes up to me just like, oh, hey guys, do you want to go over like strategy for the match or anything? And they go, oh yeah, we were just talking about strategy. We were talking about what's going to happen when you turn on us mid-match and hit us with stunners. Because, you've done that a lot. Let's think. Kofi Kingston, Sami Zayn, and just like listing off all the people he turned on. Even a little hint at Jericho, but they can't say Jericho because he's in AEW. Goes, oh, I feel like there's a big name missing off this. Maybe I feel like I need to make a list. We said it, but we didn't say it. At? I don't know, man. Beyond me. And then KO was just like, hey guys, I'm not going to do that, obviously. I'll do it on Sunday. On Sunday, we're complete enemies. But tonight, no, I'm not about that anymore. And then he walks off and they're just like, do you think he's telling the truth? I don't know, man. I just like the fact that they actually reference continuity of Kevin Owens turns on people. That's what he does. That's what he do. Yeah, I appreciate that a lot. Then we had the backstage segment with Reginald and Carmella. Then we had the main event, which was Jey Uso, King Corbin, and Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, and Cesaro. Edge was on commentary and did some bloody brilliant work on commentary, I thought. Really added a lot to the match, to him being there, to the potential opponents that he's scouting and things like that. After an ad break, Paul Heyman came out on commentary as well to also scout for all the people in the chamber, which makes a lot of sense, but also kind of sowing the seeds of Edge and Roman a little bit more on commentary as well. all of it just worked really, really well together. Really appreciated the whole presentation. Thought it was great. The match was quite fun. I enjoyed it. And I really, really liked the finish. I thought the finish was beautiful.
Yes.
Which was Daniel Bryan top rope, gets a butterfly suplex onto Sami Zayn off the top rope. Amazing looking move. And then as they land, rolls through into a yes lock and then taps out Sami Zayn, which I thought was great. And also, I think the right person won as well, because Daniel Bryan needed a win after losing quite a lot to like Shinsuke and Cesaro recently. I think he really needed the win. So I thought it was very good stuff. And then immediately after the match, everyone starts hitting big moves and finishes. Corbin hits an end of days. There was other stuff. There was a stunner, I think. There was other things. But it ended with super kicks and all that jazz. It ended with Edge hitting a spear on Jey Uso, and then Roman Reigns coming from out of nowhere and hitting a spear onto Edge, which very much paints it in the direction of Edge will be choosing Roman Reigns. It's quite overt now, but it came at the very end of the show, right before Elimination Chamber, when Edge has been scouting opponents for Chamber. It worked. Yes. I really, really like this.
This is probably one of the best go-home angles WWE's done for a long time, because not only does it build Sunday's match, but it also builds the future. Like it builds the next 2 months of SmackDown, because because we now know pretty much. I mean, you'd be shocked if they decided, actually, do you know what, Roman shouldn't face Edge.
Actually, it'll be Finn Balor.
Yeah. There you go. I've heard rumors. And like that's what you want. You want the final segment to be like, oh man, Sunday's going to be great, which I now think, because this match is going to be awesome. And then I'm like, okay, those two, I mean, we haven't seen Edge hit Spear and Roman, because I don't think we should for a while. I mean, we probably will see it next week. But the fact that Edge at the beginning was like, hey man, I can show the dents in your armor. And then that's the first thing we hear. And at the end, we see Roman hit a spear. And then we've got Roman with the upper hand at the end, which was teased with that little whispering. So yeah, just a really effective go-home segment. It makes me want to watch Sunday, which is what you have to do on a go-home segment. And it makes me excited for the potential WrestleMania match. So what more could you ask for?
Exactly, yeah.
Just a shame the rest of the show was a bit meh.
I wouldn't say the rest of the show. The women's stuff was very bad on this show.
Yes.
But like the Apollo Big E stuff I thought was great.
And the Otis stuff was baffling.
The opening segment, the Otis stuff was baffling. I would have given this show a 3 out of 5. Yeah. Because I thought the opening and the ending was really good, and the Apollo Big E stuff I'm really into. The rest was confusing or bad. But yeah, I think 3 out of 5 is fair, because like you said, it did still make me excited for Sunday. So
yes,
yeah. But before we get out of here, one final reminder. This show will be moving to the WrestleTalk podcast channel. As of now, this is the last episode of the SmackDown podcast that will be on the WrestleTalk channel. It'll be moving to the WrestleTalk podcast channel. The review of Elimination Chamber on Monday will be on the WrestleTalk podcast channel, and all future podcasts will be on that channel. You can find a link to it in the description. Go and subscribe there, because that's where you'll find all the podcasts. It's very important for you to watch the podcast. That's what you want to watch. That's why you're watching the SmackDown one. Anyway, before we get out of here, we now need to say thank you to some very special people, and those are our $25 and above pledge hammers on Patreon. If you go over to WrestleTalk's Patreon page, you can join in on Wrestle League, get your predictions in for Elimination Chamber. You can compete against all our other backers, and also us in a big old leaderboard. It impacts a lot of things, and you can win some cool stuff if you win Wrestle League too. So get involved. Go to WrestleTalk's Patreon page now and subscribe. And if you pledge at the $25 or above tier, you can get your own custom wrestling nickname, and it gets read out on a show much like this one. So thank you to The Wands Chooses the Wizard, Carol Wands. Woo!
Oh, yeah. Go, Carol. Zondermania running wild.
Running wild. Hell yeah. Thank you very much. Colin McLeaner than Finn Balor. Woo!
Oh, he is lean. WrestleTalk's personal problem solver, Jamie Donovan.
Woo! Yes, thank you, Jamie. Russ, Pooper Scooper Cooper.
Ah, he does scoop poop.
He does.
Joseph the Saint Crisante.
Woo! Yes, thank you very much. Arnie K. The K stands for the coolest dude ever.
Oh, he is the coolest.
He is.
The Cypriot sensation, Chris Petru.
Moderator extraordinaire, Chris Petru, thank you very much. Everybody has a price. Kenny Bryson. Woo! Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yanni Zayn Hamid.
Nope, there's no R in that. It's
Yes,
H-A-M-I-D.
there is.
Hamid. Yanni Zayn Hamid, thank you. The man, and
Yes,
finally,
that's how you pronounce it.
yep, and finally, the man with the scoops, Sean. Woo!
Ah.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of our pledge hammers over on Patreon, and thank you for watching. Please press the videos that have just appeared on the screen to catch up with more awesome WrestleTalk stuff. Remember to subscribe to the WrestleTalk podcast channel and press the button in the middle that will make you become a pledge hammer on Patreon. I have been Corporate Chopper. I've been joined by Randy Andy Datson. Don't forget to tune in for Elimination Chamber live reactions where I will be Pete Hardy, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.